came from. I was born in St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver to a birth father, Francis Dunn, and my mother, Shirley Molson. He was a Irish drunk, a bit of a dandy. I don't have any memories of him at all. I have one photograph, and apparently he was a drunk and abused women and took off after I was born. Then my mother got a job teaching in Braylorne, which was a gold mining town north of Pemberton, and took me and my older brother up there, brave woman, and to teach, and fell in love with a dancer, Calvin Robert Peterman, who was raised Mennonite. Anyway, he was a wonderful guy, and he devoted his life to her and raised us, and he was the only father that I ever knew. It was always a bit of a strange relationship because you always know there's somebody else out there, but you don't really know him. And anyway, that's where I came from. Went to school. We had a mini farm in Richmond, and cows and chickens and potatoes and all that stuff, picking berries, and just a regular country upbringing in Richmond when it was all farms. And I was raised there, and that's pretty much where I came from. It's not that complicated. Typical Canadian. Early dance years. I was about 6 in the first grade, and for whatever reason my mother decided to send me to ballet school. At the time, it was the first ballet school in Vancouver. It was in where the Orpheum ticket office is now. That was a ballet studio. In the 70s it became a gay bar, and then in the renovations it became the ticket office. And down below is the offices of Ballet BC and Vancouver Symphony. So they sent me to this ballet. I'll never forget it. The teacher, I found out later, was Madame Sylvia Arfa, and she was a student of Cicchetti, danced with Pavlova. And I guess she got lost in the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo demise in South America. All the old dancers got scattered all over the place. I met one in Mexico City once. So she was the teacher, and I was just 6 years old. And I'll never forget the first class because she was screaming away in some language I had no idea what. She was probably Russian, a heavy Russian accent. And she had the Cicchetti cane, and she was pounding on screaming at the kids. And I was so scared, I actually peed on the floor. I just stood there at the bar and peed all over the floor, and they dragged me out of class. So that was my first class of ballet. Anyway, that's where it started, and it evolved then to Grace MacDonald, who was one of the founders of Theatre Under the Stars in Vancouver. She had a guest teacher one summer, Walter Cameron, who came from Chicago, from the grade school of Walter Cameron, Bentley Stone. Bentley was one of the founders of the first American ballet company, Ruth Page, Stone Page Ballet Company in Chicago. Knew Diaghilev and everything. Anyway, I got a scholarship at 12 to spend my summers in Chicago at this incredible school with John Neumeier was in the classes, and so Leslie Brown came up later. I mean, there was just people from all the ballet companies were coming through there. Baryshnikov came in and had class one day. Everybody came in, and they knew these great masters. They were friends of Adolf Boom, and they knew Diaghilev and Pavlova and everybody. So that was how I got started in dance, and I went from there. I toured with the Bolshoi once when I was 16, got on as a super here in Vancouver, and then they took me to on the western part of their tour, one of their ballets. A wonderful experience. So that was my background, and all the stuff. I knew everybody, Reed Anderson and everybody in Vancouver. So that was my dancing thing. Scholarship to Salt Lake City, and I hated it, absolutely hated it. I wasn't meant for university. I'm just not that type. I wanted to dance. And the mornings and the suffering, I just wanted to be free for a while, and I just took off and became a hippie and wandered around. So that was my dance history. Quite fun, but it's the basis of who I am. In late September last year, and Mehdi encouraged me to write a book. And it kind of pushed me, you know, when someone at that level makes a suggestion, do it. So I wanted to tell something a little bit different rather than the just straight line historical documentary or autobiography. I was going to tell the story in memorable tricks, great moments, spiritual, physical, emotional, intense relationships, some for a few days, some for a few years. But each one of them was significant to represent who I was and what I was doing at that time. And by telling the story of each person and the events, it'll tell the story of my life in maybe a little bit more interesting way. Anyway, and that's what I'm doing. So it's memorable tricks, a story of a life. That's it.